Good morning, everybody. And look, I thought today I would talk very quickly on problems. Well, that's dumb. Who wants to talk about problems? Nobody wants to talk about problems. That's the problem, okay? No one wants to talk about problems, and so we don't understand the problems that we are trying to solve. So here's, very quickly, in a nutshell, I see three buckets. Bucket number one is people who have still got a job, life is okay, they've got their basic needs met. Bucket number two is they still have a job, it's less than what they were getting paid for the same job before. A little bit of uncertainty around who and what and where, but there is a semblance of hope because they might come out of it normal at some point. Bucket number three is being made redundant, business won't operate in this world. Regardless of what bucket you're in, you're going to have to think about life a little bit differently. Bucket number one, the pros are you've got a job, which is awesome. The pros are that you've got all your basic needs met, which is fantastic, and you're living probably a similar lifestyle to the one you had before COVID-19. Con is that you probably feel a little bit stuck now because you have to stay there because there's not a hell of a lot of choice anymore. Bucket number two, pro is, yep, you've got money coming in, you can survive. You've probably had to make a couple of shifts with things, but essentially life is relatively normal. However, there is a whole bunch of uncertainty that's lying deep and low in you. And bucket number three is you are being forced to make some big decisions and changes now. So the reason why I've taken a lot longer to get this video out to you guys is because I really sat back today and I thought about how could I be helpful? Remembering that's my one motive, is to help in this space. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to share some of the lenses that I've used, and I'm going to share two concepts with you today because I have some of my businesses that are in bucket three, and I've had to really think about what are we going to do and how we're going to sit outside of the norm if we need to. So here's what I want you to do. Let's say, for example, you are in bucket three, or even bucket two, or even bucket one. Mostly this is designed for bucket three. But the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do you love to do? What is it that you have a deep-rooted passion to do? Because the great thing that comes off the back of huge change is new beginnings. And so there's this really beautiful opportunity to create this new beginning, and whatever it might look like. But let's just give that a little bit of shape, right? So figure out what it is that you love. I did this exercise way before COVID-19. I sat down, I said, what do I love doing? And I realized I love doing two things. I loved helping people, number one, and I love training and developing. Hence the reason why I set up B-Suite. Because that's what I love doing. I just want to help people. I want to facilitate training. I love facilitating learning. I love talking about business stuff. I love talking about human nature. I love talking about ways in which to understand life. It rocks my world, okay? So sit back and think, what rocks your world? Number one. Number two, when you understand what you want to do, or what you think you would like to do, put it to the side and then look out into the world and go, what problems are out there right now that need to be solved, and for whom? Now, this is how all good businesses start when it comes to the ideation process, when they're trying to figure out what it is that they're trying to solve, what it is they're trying to create. They can't create anything until they understand what they're trying to solve. So what problems do you think you could solve with your unique solution, with what's unique to you? And who has that problem? Spend a bit of time in that. Then number three, then you can get into the problem solving space. Now, when you hit the problem solving space, I'm going to give you a second concept, which is this. Do four things. Just check, does it exist? And if it does exist, what does that look like? So have a look and see what other people are doing. Everyone will be doing something. There's some really good offerings out there. There's some really bad offerings out there. There's some middle of the road offerings, and all of them are relative in whatever sense. So go and see what exists. Ask yourself, are you being too rigid in your problem solution? And by rigid, what I mean is you're saying this is how the solution will look. I've got it. The third thing is you've got to ask yourself, are you stating the obvious? So are you just solving something that's already probably being solved? And then fourthly, is it routine? So is it just settling into a similar routine as everything else? So ladies and gentlemen, today's lesson is actually quite complex when you break it down. And if you'd love to break it down with me, I'd love to break it down with you. So just check out my website, bsuite, besuite.co.nz. Book a time in with me. I'm out of the 2 weeks for free, and now I'm into first sessions free. So if you haven't had a session with me, you are absolutely okay to go and jump online. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And then we can go from there. So question for those that are in bucket 3 and even bucket 2 and even bucket 1, if you wanted to give yourself choices, what do you love to do? What skills do you bring? Hold on to that. What problems exist? What are you trying to solve and for whom? And then what's your unique solution in that space? Remembering to ask yourself 4 things when you're thinking of your solution. 1, does it exist? Am I being too rigid? Am I stating the obvious? Or am I just in this routine of coming up with a solution that looks like this? So hopefully that's helpful. That particular session today is like the very skin of a very deeper process. So please, 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 if you'd love to unpack this with me, if you're in bucket 3, like I said, first session's free, come and have a chat to me. I would love to talk to you. Take care, guys. Bye.